As much as we would have loved to see 100% smoke-free without designated smoking areas, I must say that what the Lagos State government has done is applaudable. From the speech of the governor, you could hear him say this law is about protecting the lives of the citizens, including the lives of smokers themselves. So this is about protecting the lives of non-smokers and as well as encouraging the smokers to be able to quit smoking. And this is actually firmly rooted in Article 8 of the Framework Convention on Tobacco Control, which is an international treaty that regulates the sale, manufacturing and distribution of tobacco products all over the world. Nigeria is a signatory to that law, including several African countries. And I think governments around the world, cities around the world, municipal government around the world, like Lagos State has done, are taking measures to protect their citizens, because health falls under what we call the concurrent legislative list. It's not exclusive.
How do you protect the lives and property of citizens? Isn't this infringing in the rights of smokers? The
interesting thing is that the policy about protecting people from secondhand smoke is firmly rooted in our rights to good environments, our rights to life, the rights for the protection of children, the rights to the protection of women. It's basically that, look, if you smoke, you don't have the right to endanger the life of the fellow citizens that do not smoke. So the government is there to protect the life of the non-smoker from whatever hazards that are being associated with smoking.
Now let's take a look at the penalties. Isn't this too harsh?
No, look, let's make this clarification. We don't really think that the penalties are about picking smokers and handing them to jails or to prisons. First, the principle is to create that environment that will encourage them not to smoke. So the penalties are first and foremost deterrent, so that they will not smoke in those public places. And when you look at it, 10,000 for a first offender, then if you are a second offender, it could go as high as 50,000. I think that is much more reasonable when we're talking about the health of people. When you talk about cancer, you talk about those diseases that have been associated with smoking, and particularly associated with the fact that people who are second-hand smokers can also get those diseases.
How about someone who doesn't have 10,000 naira to pay?
Well, then you don't smoke in public places. That's why it's a deterrent. So, and then there's the option of going to 1 month jail or 6 month jail if you are a continuous offender.
Now, okay, let's take a look at proper implementation of this law. How is the government trying to ensure that this law is properly enforced?
I think the basic thing to understand is that we've got the tool as citizens of the country, as citizens of this state, to be able to, one, challenge whoever smoke in areas that my health is protected. So you can walk up to the person, you can call the police. That gives us that right, number one. Number two is that for us as civil society groups is to work with the government in building capacity, in providing technical assistance, in working with those agencies to ensure that this law is effectively implemented. And we will also continue to put pressure on government to make appropriate budgetary allocation to those agencies. One thing is to make a law, sign the law, another is to make available those materials and resources that they need to enforce it.
Thank you so much for coming on the news.
Thank you so much.
Well, I've been speaking with Director of the Corporate Accountability Campaign, Environmental Right Action, Akimbode Olufemi, on the new law passed in Lagos State against smoking in public places. TVC News returns shortly after this break. Stay with us.
News happens in a split second.